Blue notes. You've probably heard this phrase, blue notes. The Blue Note. There's a Blue Note cafe. There are nightclubs called the Blue Note. There's a record label called Blue Note Records. What is this referring to, right? Musically, from a music sort of musicology theory standpoint, blue notes refer to a very, very specific set of sounds, right? It's been relegated to just say, well, it's the flat 3, the flat 5, and the flat 7. Okay. But actually it's a much deeper subject than just those 3 notes. So as guitarists, we need a system by which to understand what is the subtlety? What does this actually mean, right? How do we map it on the fretboard? How do we get these things to be useful? Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name's Chris. Today you will learn about blue notes. Now I'm going to explain what they are to the best of my capability. Then I'm going to show you where they exist, where these relationships, these notes exist on the neck, and how to play them and how to hear them. That's going to be the most important part. How do you hear what these notes are? Because they're a little different than just those 3 notes that I explained at the top. So before I get started, I'm going to give you a small history about what blue notes are. And ultimately, the blue notes, is really descriptive of a very, very specific time in musical history in the pre-Civil War Southern United States, where there were migrations of people playing music, trying to get sounds out of 2 different musical systems. So there's the 12-note European system, pianos, horns, stringed instruments, this instrument, all designed to facilitate and play notes from this 12-tone system. This has 12 frets, right? It's clearly designed to play the European 12-note system. You have migrations of people from other societies where musical expression was done through different systems, and these are called just intonation systems. So just being like just, not like just, but like just intonation. You should look that up because I don't have time to go into it right now, but these are systems that have different notes. So this migration of people trying to find notes from those other systems on instruments that were designed to play the European 12-tone system, what happens is that there are notes you just can't find here. So these musicians had to try to alter these tones. This largely came from vocalization, where you don't necessarily have any frets to worry about. But how do you replicate those sounds? And with instruments like horns, harmonicas, and guitars, you can bend and alter notes, and thereby start to approximate the missing sounds and the missing tones from those other systems in the European 12-tone system. It just so happens that those relationships exist around the flat 3 and around the flat 5 and around the flat 7. So there's a short history. Let me show you where these things are, where these blue notes are, what they sound like, and how to play them. Let's get started. Okay, let's go find these blue notes. Where are they? You've heard flat 3, flat 5, flat 7. What are these numbers? What's happening? The very first thing we want to do is make sure we can find these notes. And these numbers all relate to the major scale. Major scale is the ruler of all things. Any new information we get that has these numbers in it, that refers to 3s and 7s and 5s and whatever, all refers to the major scale. So what we do is I'm going to play an A major scale and I'm going to just number all the notes. The 1 is going to be the root. The root and the 1 are the same thing. Root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root. So those are all the numbers, right? Those are going to be very, very critical for us to find these other notes, these flat 3s, the flat 5s, and the flat 7s. So let's just crawl through this scale and find these flat notes. We're going to find the flat third first. 1, 2, 3. Flatting just means reducing it by just like taking it down a half step. So there's the third, there's the flat 3. I'm just going to notice that in this key, flat 3 is a C note. So then I'm just going to use octaves to find it everywhere. So in the key of A, my flat 3 is C. So these are all C notes. Got my flat 3, right? Let's find the flat 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Woo! That's heavy duty. In this key, the flat 5 is E flat. Let's just use octaves to map it around. There's another one here. So in the key of A, my flat 5 is E flat. There they all are. Last one's flat 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just take it down a half step. That's our flat 7. In this key, it's G. Those are all my G notes. Okay, so we found these notes. We got the flat 3, the flat 5, and the flat 7. Here they all are against the A. Here's our A note. Here's our flat 3. Here's our flat 5. Here's our flat 7. We're also going to use this one. It's also the flat 7. Okay, now, as I mentioned before, these blue notes were the result of trying to mix these two musical systems together. So the notes we're actually looking for aren't on the fretboard. They don't correspond to frets that we can actually play. We have to alter some notes, and we're going to do that by bending. So, the flat 3 by itself is what it is. It fits really nice in a minor chord, sounds a little strange over a major chord. Here I'm just playing the major third and the minor third at the same time. Minor 3, that flat 3 sounds a little strange over the major chord. The blue note version of this flat 3 is either bent up a little bit towards the major third or bent from below into the minor third. So check this out. Here's our flat 3. If I bend this up to the major third, it sounds like this. If I bend it almost to the major third, sounds like that. And it always wants to resolve to that root. Listen to this tension. It's your responsibility as a musician to create that tension, but also have a plan to resolve it. And the minor third really wants to resolve down to the root. Or you can resolve it up to the major third. minor third. Now, the other place you can get it is right below it at the 2. Watch this. Root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root 2. There's the flat 3. I'm bending the 2 up a half step to the flat 3, but here's that in-between note again. So here I'm messing with the flat 3. Check this out. That's the flat 3. And that blue note is somewhere in between there. It's the 2 pulling up to the flat 3. It's the flat 3 pulling up but not quite making it to the major third. That's the flat 3. That's the blue note sort of, personality of the flat 3. Let's go find the flat 5. Whew. A lot of tension there. The flat 5 really, really wants to resolve up to the 5th. As a passing tone, it really works just by itself. But it wants to get bent up to the 5th. There it is, right at the 5. But here it is, just underneath the 5. Either up to the 5, or it slides back down and it wants to resolve along with that minor third. That's the essence of that flat 5. Also, in this position, it's right here, which is nice. Now, going below the flat 5 is this 4 note. Here's the flat 5, right? Check this out. Bending the 4 almost up to the flat 5. Listen how dark that is. Here it is to the flat 5. So you get this kind of thing. Very spooky. Now, flat 7, in this key it's a G. The flat 7 always wants to resolve up to the root. That's where you get that great blues riff. Flat 7. Bending up to the root. And if you don't make it, it's even better. Flat 3, almost to the major third. Go down to the 2 and pull into the flat 3. Flat 5, definitely wanting to go all the way up to the 5. Or slip, sort of slide down through the 4. Back to that flat 3 again, down to the root. And the flat 7, obviously wanting to go up to the root. There they are, the blue notes. Not on the fretboard, somewhere in between. You really have to get control of your bending to find these things and really get a relationship with what they sound like. Okay, there they are, blue notes. Interesting, right? It's not just the flat 3. and the flat 5 and the flat 7. In fact, those notes actually don't express what we're trying to find here, and they don't come close to getting those notes that we're missing from the 12-tone system, right, when these two systems sort of crashed into each other. So you have to really be very sensitive. You have to go find these notes, right? When to bend them, how far to bend them, when you want to release that tension. It's a very, very subtle study, but it's worth it. It's worth a lot of effort to put into this. It really is going to bring great expression to your playing, because there's something about just creating tension and resolving tension with the 12 notes we have, but finding these other notes creates this other sort of very genuine and unique sound that is associated with the blues. And this is what the blue notes actually really are. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this. I've tabbed it all out. That's on Patreon. You can find that in the link below in the description. Head on over there if you'd like the tabs. These tabs are a little weird because there's some quarter tone bends in there, right? There's some stuff that I can't even tab out. It's so subtle, but I've given it a whirl, and that's on Patreon. We're also having a great discussion over there about all these subjects. Any support on Patreon is greatly appreciated, as it fuels this whole endeavor. Okay, I hope you enjoy these blue notes, and I hope you go and find them and really spend some time and get your bending really, really subtly sort of in control. And you'll find those blue notes, and you'll be able to use them whenever you need to. All right, I'll see you next time.